your boy back another one. Yo, we got The Dream is basically being sued for a bunch of things, bunch of horrible things. That first of all, before we even get into it, it's just crazy that the whole entire industry that they sold us, most of the people that we looked up to growing up are just evil people and have done like horrible crimes. The fact that all these lawsuits are coming out and as aggressive as they are, it just leads you to think, what were we being sold? You know what I'm saying? So the producer for Beyonce, Rihanna, and other stars under the name The Dream has been accused of the R word and S battery in a lawsuit filed on Tuesday by a former protege, right? So Shanaz Mangoro, who performed as Shanti Monroe, says in her suit that in 2015, basically, The Dream used promises to promote her career to entangle her in the abusive relationship in which he repeatedly forced her to have sex with her or him, strangled her, and once made a video recording of an intimate encounter and threatened to show it to others. So basically, he seemed like he was on that Diddy tactic. You guys got to realize a lot of these lawsuits seem like it's very close to what Diddy have done and basically Vince McMahon and a lot of these stuff. So it seems like this is a very Hollywood thing. And it seems like a lot of these things are very natural to Hollywood. It seems like a lot of these things must be the custom or the norm to Hollywood, based off of how a lot of these lawsuits sound extremely similar. When it comes to basically recording the artist or recording the victim itself, there's a bunch of these stuff that sounds extremely similar to each other. So The Dream basically is one of the most powerful producers behind the scenes of the music industry. An 8-time Grammy winner, of course, had hit songs like Falsetto, you know what I'm saying? Also wrote songs for some of the biggest pop stars and R&B stars of the last 2 decades, including Rihanna, Umbrella, Justin Bieber's Baby, Mariah Carey, Touch My Body. So it's crazy how many people, because we all forget that he literally wrote for like so many people and so many of the greatest songs that we've ever heard. You know, it's crazy that Justin Bieber's Baby is like one of the most popular songs ever. Umbrella, popular songs ever. Touch My Body is by Mariah Carey. It's the most popular song ever too. Like, these are very popular songs. Single Ladies, with Beyonce, he was the co-writer of that. You know what I'm saying? Put a Ring on It. You guys know that song. And Break My Soul. And working on each of the Superstar studio albums since 2008. This was like the norm. He's like someone that's very tied into the industry. You guys understand? He is the industry, the person that we're hearing the most, even out of female artists. Some of them lyrics at the time were coming from The Dream. So the suit also accuses The Dream of sex trafficking, a claim that has been cited in a number of recent civil lawsuits, including against Sean Combs. Look at that. The hip-hop mogul known as Diddy or Puff Daddy, over accusations of harboring or transporting victims of sexual assault by fraud or coercion. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It's a very similar tactic that I feel like Diddy was accustomed to, but not just Diddy. He was taught by the other people in Hollywood, the other higher ups. So while all of these melanated people are coming out, the people who taught these melanated people how to do these things is the people we need to really go after as well. We need to add all of these people together, because what you guys got to realize is that they're letting go of like the little puppets, basically the little puppets that they had. But we need to get the puppet handler. We need to get the ones at the top, because all of these guys are doing the same exact things in these lawsuits. You know what I'm saying? So what Dream did to, quote unquote, what Dream did to me made it impossible to live life I envisioned for myself and pursue my goals as a singer and a songwriter. This is what the claimant or the person who filed the lawsuit have said. Miss Mangro said in a statement. She also said, ultimately, my silence has become too painful, and I've realized that I need to tell my story to heal. I hope that doing so will also help others prevent from future horrific abuse. So basically, in the statement that she wrote, she basically was trying to basically like how the Diddy accusations or the Diddy victims, basically they're coming out to basically try to stop the abuse from anybody else trying to go through it or going through it or unknowingly, naively going into it as well. So you see that a lot of these lawsuits and claims are very similar. That's something that I have to point out, because I feel like that's something that's not talked about, because I feel like there's someone that taught them all of this stuff. There's a bigger person in all of this that we're not getting to. We're kind of getting all of the little puppets. We got R. Kelly, we got Bill Cosby was a big one. But specifically the Diddy one, I feel like it's very powerful because now it's started a chain reaction. So people like the Dream now is getting caught up as well. These claims are untrue and defamatory, he said in the statement. I oppose all forms of harassment and have always strived to help people realize their career goals. As someone committed to making a positive impact on my fellow artists and the world at large, I am deeply offended and saddened by these accusations. Right. So Miss Monroe, who was 33 years old, she was born in the Netherlands and wanted to break into the music business as a pop singer and a songwriter. According to her complaint, she was working in the United States in the late 2014 when an associate of basically the Dream asked her to send, like, samples of her music. In January 2015, she flew to Atlanta to meet the Dream, who took her to a strip club, of course, began recording with her, and according to the complaint, the complaint, she said, I told her that he would make her the next Beyonce and Rihanna. Basically, that's basically what she said that he told her. These are the promises that Diddy also gave Lil Rod, the producer, or something like that as well. They always give you, like, I'm gonna make you bigger than the person that we put in place as well. So that leads me to believe what has Beyonce and Rihanna has gone through to get to their spot. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. They're great artists, but it seemed like a lot of these stuff is tied into different things. Like, you had to do things to advance early. And one thing about Beyonce and Rihanna, they were very, very, very young when they came in the game. And Cassie, another one, was very, very young. Aaliyah, very, very young. A lot of these girls was very, very young. And to me, they had groomers. Jay-Z is like 90 years old and Beyonce is like 40 something. It doesn't make any sense how Jay-Z was creeping up on Beyonce her whole entire career, and now he controls her. Just a lot of issues. Same stuff with Rihanna. Jay-Z found her when she was like 15, 16 years old. And then somehow, some way, he just continued to have her for a long time until Beyonce came in the picture, and then they split up or whatever. And then Chris Brown, all that stuff. There's so much stuff that goes on with all of this stuff. All of these people were young. Chris Brown was also young as well. A lot of these people were young, bro. And people don't ever talk about this stuff. And they were groomed by the people that are older, like the Diddy's, Jay-Z's, the Dream. All of these people, they're just older people who just groomed younger artists and gave them a promise that they would be bigger. So within days, according to Miss Monroe's lawsuit, basically the Dream began to pressure her into sex, telling her if it was a part of the process, of course. In order to get to the top, this is basically what you got to do. At a house with a studio where they were working, the suit also says that he locked her in a dark room and would only stop aggressively having sex with her once she said that she loved him. Wow, that's very graphic and very sad. More sexual encounters continue. The suit says that the Dream sometimes holding her down and refusing to use a condom despite her protests. At the same time, the suit says he made business promises to her, suggesting he could make her the opening act for Beyonce's next tour. So it seems like he very much was using a lot of the Beyonce ties that he had early on with Beyonce and Rihanna to get a lot of these women to do what they did or to do what they are doing. Uh, or couldn't, or were forced to do, basically. According to the complaint, the Dream then became more controlling and violent. He placed her in an Atlanta hotel, and his security staff monitored her moves, berating her unless she regularly checked in with him. After Miss Monroe complained about the bed bugs in her hotel room, her cause paper says that the Dream exploded in anger, telling her she was disloyal, she was a brat, and blaming the attention he spent on her for delays to Beyonce's next album. So basically saying this is the reason why Beyonce album is delayed, because I'm out here focusing on you and stuff like that. So it's a master manipulator, master narcissistic tactics, and that's what was used in manipulative tactics. He plied her with alcohol and marijuana. The complaint says, and once forced Miss Monroe to have sex with him while he recorded it. Wow. And later threatened to show the footage to other people. A lot like Diddy. You notice that a lot of this stuff sounds exactly like Diddy stuff. Like, they take the footage of the people and they show it to the other hip hop industry people. That kind of would make sense, while other art, it just makes sense. A lot of stuff makes sense, and I don't think this stuff has stopped. I think this stuff is still going on. The dream often placed a gun next to her, which she would saw as like a warning. So he would probably like place it on the dresser or something like that. Like, if you say anything about this, I'm gonna pop you, like on some like movie type stuff, right? So at a movie theater one day, the dream asked Miss Monroe to perform oral sex on him. The complaint says that after she said no, he became extremely angry and forced her to have sex. In the view, in view of the other theater, wow, and in the with the other theater people looking, basically, it was physically painful to encounter. The complaint says later the same day, the suit says that the dream took Miss Monroe to his van, again forced her to have sex, pinning her down, placing his hands over her mouth. Wow. Viewer discretion is advised, and nose leaving her unable to breathe. So this is very graphic, and I'm sorry if anybody feels like they're getting re-traumatized or anything. This is extremely aggressive, but it also says that the dream signed Miss Monroe to his record label Contra Paris and arranged for a distribution deal for her with Epic Records, a major label owned by Sony. The court papers said by that summer of 2015, Miss Monroe was trying to escape from the dream control and prepare for the release of an album, but her efforts were unsuccessful because that's the dream. According to the complaint, Miss Monroe reported the dream abuse to an Epic executive who told her that she needed to figure out a way to work with the dream again. Basically, the executive. This is the Epic Records executive. These are the people we need to get to because they're enablers of a lot of the evil that goes on in the industry. She just coming to y'all, the higher ups of the dream, to snitch, and well, not snitch in a bad way, but to basically tell that, yo, I'm in some issues, and they telling her, you need to go find a way to go work with him again and get out of my face. In July 2016, according to the complaint, Miss Monroe was told that Epic was dropping her because the Dream, who still controlled her artist contract, had not delivered music at all, even though she basically submitted it. Epic is also named as a defendant in the suit as well. So a spokeswoman for Sony did not have an immediate comment. Representatives of Beyonce and Rihanna did not immediately respond to the request for comment as well. So the Dream, who used to go by the name as Terrius Nash, has been accused of violence against women in the past. In 2014, he was charged with assault on allegations that he kicked and punched and choked a former girlfriend, Jesus, who was 8 months pregnant. What the? Yo, the Dream, this dude is evil. All right, prosecutors dropped the case the following year. How? Saying they could not prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Yo, you see what I'm saying, y'all? This is why I read these stuff. This is why I read the lawsuits, because we're realizing that a lot of this stuff has been gone under the rug. People are like, why are people just now coming out? Because a lot of stuff did already been came out, but stuff was getting thrown underneath the rug because of power. And because he knows he can just get the Epic Records labels to go pay the lawyers and pay the judges or pay something off to where now everything is a reasonable doubt. How is it a reasonable doubt when someone that's pregnant is telling you that I'm getting beaten on and I'm pregnant with my child? Like, what? So in her lawsuit, Miss Monroe is represented by Douglas H. Wigner and Meredith A. Fertog, who have also represented Cassandra Ventura, who is also known as Cassie. That's why this case sounds extremely similar. So it seems like those lawyers are trying to gather up as much people that is tied to all of this as possible. And I feel like a lot of people are getting justice through Cassie because these are the same lawyers that are tied to Cassie as well. They're trying to get as much people to basically get as much justice or some type of payment or some type of something for their trauma that they face in the music industry that you can't really speak up on, and because you're dealing with the celebrities that everybody love, and they don't, like, people love these celebrities so much they put them in God figures to where it's as if you're talking about God when you're talking about these celebrities. You can't critique these celebrities without someone of their fan base getting so mad as if you're talking about God themselves. And that's where I feel like that's the disconnect. That's the worshiping. That's the selling the soul. But that's basically the full report that we have on the Dream. But the Dream seems to be very much a Diddy character characteristics, energy. Seemed like he was one of those people that was either on the tapes or was a part of a lot of the stuff that was going on in the industry. And if he wrote for Beyonce and Rihanna and so many other artists, now that leaves us to believe, what has Beyonce and Rihanna gone through in the industry to reach where they were at? Because they came in at a young age. And a lot of these promises that a lot of these industry people are using, they're using Beyonce and Rihanna's name as someone that, like an example of how to make it to the top. If you do what you do, you could be at the level of them. That leads me to believe and ask a lot of questions, with all due respect. All of this is allegedly, but it's also lawsuits, files that I was just reading the reports. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's been your boy Alphamediaroom. Let me know how y'all feel about this whole entire situation and the state of the hip hop industry, or the industry itself, entertainment industry, the world itself. Let me know what y'all think. It's been your boy Alphamediaroom. Peace.